Hello everyone! For my third Teach Me project, I'm going to be showing you guys or walking you guys through histology. It's not going to be all of them. It's just going to be whatever I got done. Okay. So first we have the jejunum. You can see the mucosa as well as the submucosa and the muscularis externa. In the mucosa, we can also see right after the mucosa, we'll be able to see the muscularis mucosae. And in the second photo here, this is the villi of the mucosa. We can see the individual villi as well as, or the villus, as well as the intestinal crypts. We also have some goblet cells. Okay, next photo we have also the mucosa. I'm going to zoom in here, and the mucosa is made out of simple columnar epithelium. So this is a single epithelial cell, and then everything in between is going to be the areolar connective tissue. We can also still see a lot of goblet cells here. They're quite easy to find. And then these spaces, of course, are going to be the intestinal crypts. In the submucosa, we can see the submucosal glands. So there's this one here. I don't know what that is. And then there's this one. Here's a closer image of it. And then the muscularis externa. We can see the circular layer and then the longitudinal layer. Now moving on to the pancreas. This one's quite simple. We just have pancreatic ducts and then we have like islets. They're kind of hard to see in the photo, but in the microscope they're really easy to find. They're like really clear, but that's one. This is also one. Here's a close-up image of them. So here we have a pancreatic duct, and then over here we have an islet, and then these smaller ones are going to be the acinine. Alright, next we have the liver. So this is the pig. I think it was a pig. I don't remember. Okay, this is the liver lobules, obviously. Then we have some central canals. When we take a closer look at the liver lobules, we can see these spaces. That's going to be the sinusoids. The Kupfert cells are going to be like these little ones right here. They'll be in the sinusoid. So everything else like this, that's going to be the nucleus of the hepatocytes. So these are also hepatocytes. And then next we have the hepatoportal triad. This is what we see or we can find in the human liver. Obviously we have the bile duct and the arteriole, and to differentiate between those two, the bile duct is just made out of simple cuboidal epithelium, and that's the easiest way to differentiate between those two. And then of course the venule. Okay, now the ureter. So here we have the mucosa made of transitional epithelium. You can kind of tell because it just looks crazy, like it's, I don't know, random, I guess. The submucosa, which is a denser version of areolar connective tissue. And then we have the muscularis externa right here, the smooth muscle. And then the adventitia, which will be dense irregular connective tissue. I don't know what this is, but y'all can make your educated guesses. I don't know what that is. Okay, bronchus. So this is the lung slide. Here we have a bronchus, and this is what's it called? An artery. I think it's a muscular artery. I don't know. I mean, I should know, but I don't know. I don't know right now. Okay, next, alveoli, bronchial and bronchus. So obviously the bronchus is the larger one. The bronchioles are these smaller ones over here. And then all of these are going to be the alveoli. So if we take a closer look at the bronchus, here we have the mucosa made of pseudostratified columnar epithelium. We have the submucosa, which is going to be a relar connective tissue. So it's like this, and then this, because remember the lamina propria is a denser version of a relar connective tissue. And the adventitia here, we can see the hyaline cartilage and the dense irregular connective tissue. So when we look at the zoomed out photo, we can see the bits and pieces of hyaline cartilage. Next we have a bronchiole. So here we have another artery. And then here's the bronchiole, and then all these little ones are going to be the alveoli. So here we can see the mucosa, which is going to be simple columnar epithelium, and then this is the smooth muscle around the bronchiole. It's that. And then if we look at the alveoli, it's going to be simple squamous epithelium, so it's not that hard to identify. Next up, we have the trachea and the esophagus. So if we look at these two photos, this one's going to be the trachea, and this one's going to be the esophagus. Remember, the trachea has to stay open at all times, and it does so by having these C-shaped cartilage rings. Okay, so if we look at if we take a closer look at the trachea, we can see the trachealis muscle and the tracheal cartilage. Tracheal cartilage, remember, is made of hyaline cartilage. You can see it here. This is the tracheal cartilage, this thing. And then the trachealis muscle is going to be smooth muscle. This last image, I sectioned everything off, so the adventitia is made up of the trachealis muscle, which is not in this photo, as well as the tracheal cartilage. The submucosa is a relar connective tissue. And then we have the mucosa, which is the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. And I don't have a closer look at it, but you can kind of see there's like a goblet cell right there. And of course, the cilia would be here on the apical surface. For the esophagus, we have the mucosa, which is going to be non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. You can see it here. We have the submucosa, which is going to be a relar connective tissue. And then the muscularis externa. See it here. Now you can't see it in the photo, but one of these sections is going to be the inner circular layer, and then the other one is the longitudinal layer. You can, if you use like the largest objective lens, you can kind of see like the direction of the fibers, but in this photo you can't. And then so in the mucosa, there's going to be submucosal glands, and this one was really hard to find, and I'm pretty sure this is what this is. So that's what it should look like in the esophagus. Alright, next we have the spinal cord here. Of course, we have the gray matter, and then the white matter is going to be everything else outside of it. The central canal, the dorsal root ganglion. Here we have the posterior horn and the posterior root. And we have the anterior horn and the anterior root. And then if we look closer into the dorsal root ganglion, we can see axons. Oh no, sorry, cell bodies. We can see cell bodies. Next we have the eye. So, quick review from last exam content. So, this is going to be the cornea. So, what I'm pointing at here. Then we have the iris, which are going to be these two structures. And then the pupil will be the opening here, where light can enter the eye. And then obviously this is the lens. And then these right here are these ciliary bodies. And then for a quick review, the cornea is dense, irregular connective tissue. Iris is smooth muscle, and the ciliary bodies are also smooth muscle. Here's a close-up of the iris and the lens. Alright, and the posterior side of the eye, we have the choroid right here, which is heavily pigmented, so it's kind of easy to see. We have the retina, and then we have the sclera here. It would be the white of your eye. So the choroid, obviously, is this section. We can see blood vessels in the choroid. And then in the retina, we have the pigmented layer. So it would be this black line here. And then we also have photoreceptors. So if we zoom in, these are the rods and cones. And then I don't have it here in this photo, but you may be able to see extrinsic eye muscles. They'll just look like muscles, I guess. Right outside the sclera, like in this region.